Hello, Baden Boyce, AMA number 17. My real name is Cloyne, if anyone doesn't know that. I'm on page 6 of the questions, and I'm in the middle of Vitamycis Epidemicis these questions, and I'm boosting good still on the Power of the Boost by Beavertown, third can, nearly done. So, he says, why the hell is cricket a sport rather than just an insect? Because it's a game of patience and skill and deception, planning. You can play for 5 days times 5, 25 days over 2 months, and you can have a draw. It just doesn't suit Americans. It's just, it's no, doesn't always have to be a winner. If I ever make it to England, will you rake with me? Yes, I will happily rake with you. Anyone who comes to England, always look me up. I'm, an hour from London. I work in London. I'll come and I'll tell you what I'll do. I will rake your limbs to ragged stumps. You will be raked out. I can get you 100 plus London ticks in a day, no problem. Not for me, but I shall be the enabler. Vitemesis says, do you support including bowling in the Olympics? No opinion. Couldn't care less. Someone's singing Happy Birthday in the garden behind there. You can hear that. Hey, fuck off. Please explain the difference between UK, Great Britain, and England. Okay, so you've got the British Isles, which encompasses the islands around Britain, including the Republic of Ireland. Great Britain and Northern Ireland is the political kind of base, which is England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. And England is just England. Simple. Still, Vitamesis, he says, if you leave the EU, will you build a giant border fence around your country to keep out the riffraff? Well, we don't need to. We've got a sea around our country, and we could reinstate Hadrian's Wall to keep the Scots out. So, infrastructure's kind of there. And would that riffraff include the Scots? Yes, Hadrian's Wall. And another one. Oh, right, my sister says, why didn't I separate those questions into separate posts? Do I just not care about goal control? Obviously not. You're a fucking amateur. Cleaver. Best change in the UK beer scene in the last 5 years, and the worst change. Well, the best change for me is just the massive kind of increase in the number of styles available. I mean, going back 5 years ago, wasn't a great deal of styles. You would struggle to find anything in most places beyond golden blonde, a bitter, a porter, a stout, a mild. And there were exceptions, obviously, in 5 years. The scene was building up 5 years ago, but now you can go anywhere. I mean, the Wetherspoons chain, who get berated, you can go to any Wetherspoons and you will get 3 different 6-point beers in cans. You will get Lagunitas IPA, Brewdog Punk IPA, saying I can happily go, and good prices as well. I'll happily go to any of their bars because I will get a beer in great condition, good beer. So that's a positive. The number of styles and the fact that kind of craft beer, I know people don't agree with that term, I don't really give a shit myself. You can get a good beer in any town now without having to think about things too hard. And that's a great advancement for the beer scene for me. The worst change. I mean, I guess you kind of, some things get a bit hyped and you get bandwagon jumpers and hipsters. Don't really offend me, but like Colonel Brewery, one of my favourites. They're going to stop serving at the brewery from the 12th of September because it's just getting too busy, too swamped. So yeah, the popularity kind of creates backlogs and bottlenecks and doesn't necessarily help. So we're losing Colonel as a drinking facility now. So things like that, getting too popular and venues not being able to keep up with it. And Cleaver also asks, where do you see beer in your area going next? Well, my area, London, I mean, I work in London. I live 20 miles from London, so I'm kind of classed as the London crew. But I live in Windsor in Berkshire, which is a small town. They've got a brewery there. It has for about 5-6 years called Windsor Neaton Brewery. Decent brewery. Do some good stuff. They do really good keg pills, Czech pills. Good black IPA. There's some good stuff. They do bitters and golds. Local stuff as well. They just opened a tap room in town. So, but I don't really see much else going on in Windsor where I live. I mean, there's no craft beer bars. You can't get Colonel anywhere, for instance, where you get Colonel anywhere in London now around the UK in a lot of places. So I'd like to see a bit more variety in my area. But London itself, like I say, I think I answered the London question earlier. London's pretty hot. One of the best beer cities in the world now. in my area, yeah, it's a bit more trad, plodding along, but okay, it's okay. And Cleavar also says, what's the next big thing that brewers are working on? Hard to say. I'm not really in with the brewers. I'm not the sort of person who really. I know a few brewers here and there. I don't really get in with the brewers. What are they working on? What I was saying in the UK, I answered in a thread earlier. There's a lot more styles available now than you used to see. I see a lot more Berliner Weisses. You know, you look at the top raters of Berliner Weisses and rate beer now. You got the Florida crew, US guys. Then there's kind of like 3 or 4 of us from London in the sort of next rung, sort of 6th to sort of 12th place. Yeah, you got a lot of Berliner Weisses doing the rounds now. There's not much of the way in sours in the UK, not a lot at all. I'd like to see more sours, barrel aging as well. I know Beavertown have got like a big barrel aging facility. They've like basically bought the warehouse kind of units opposite the brew tap in London, and they've got a big barrel aging program going on to maybe a year or two before they yield any results. Siren's got a big barrel aging program, so there are some sort of forward-thinking breweries in the UK now. Because 5 years ago, UK barrel aging was hardly heard of, so that's a positive step. And like I say, a few more niche styles coming out and barrel aging. So yeah. Moving on, page number 7 now. Still on in about boost, maybe 4.99. It's kicking in slowly. Brightnesses, he says, please write a short essay describing your feelings about Margaret Thatcher. Write an essay. Well, I'm not writing, you see, so got to talk about it. Don't really do politics, to be honest, online. Maggie Thatcher was kind of a bit before. I mean, she stood down as Prime Minister. I remember the day she stood down. I was in a geography lesson at school, probably aged 16. And I remember one of the deputy head teacher came in and told the class. And I was like, "Ooh, big news." Not quite a JFK moment, but you know. I remember Maggie Thatcher when she did me a favour actually. One thing you'll hear people in England, sort of my age and a bit older, Maggie Thatcher, milk snatcher. When I was starting school, you used to get free milk at school, up to the age of 11, I think. And I used to fucking hate it. It was like full fat cream, and it used to make me gag the smell of it. You had it on a hot day, and they didn't give 2 fucks about health and safety. So this fucking milk would just sit there in a fucking oven or something. I don't know. And you get this milk, and you go, oh, what fucking. And I didn't like milk much anyway. And used to have these old fucking witch teachers who'd make you drink it, and she basically withdrew free milk to the kids in, I don't know, 83, 84, 85. Maggie Thatcher, milk snatcher, did me a favour. Cheers. Clark VV says, Rich the villain seems pretty cool. What are you doing to be as cool as him? Seriously. I bet Rich, Mitch is a goodbye. What I do is, I don't do many trades. I can't be fucking bothered wrapping things up and posting them. But I do little trades with Rich. So we've been cool together, swapping 2 or 3 beers once every couple of months. And Clark VV again. Why are you still living in England? And how has attempting to move to America failed? Are you still trying to move here? How do you cope living in England yet yearning for America? I would like to live in America. I would love to live in New York, particularly for a year. I would like to do a year and be able to come back to England. When I've got Brendan dog, so yeah, it's hard. I can't really move without him. So, but no. Yeah, I'd love to live in America, but I'd like kind of to do it for a year. But my parents aren't old, but I wouldn't want to move away full time. But yeah, I would definitely do America if I went anywhere. Fly. Hi, Fly. He says, I had what fleetingly seemed like a solid question, and then boosted senior momentum makes this a question now. No. You're talking nonsense again, Fly. Rich the villain. Do you ever miss living and working in the West Midlands Shire? So before I moved to London, I moved to London in 2002, and before that I lived in Wolverhampton and worked in Birmingham. So Birmingham's where Sarky Northerner and Rich the Villain, that kind of rough area, from. And I worked there for a few years, and there wasn't much of a beer scene in Birmingham back then. Black Country, Wolverhampton area, there's some good old school breweries like Holden's and who else used to drink then? There was Marpardo's. I missed the prices there because it was friendly bunch. The people say people in London aren't friendly, but I think they are. Just what you make of it. But yeah, it was a friendly bunch in the West Midlands and some good old school brewers, and you would pay peanuts for beer. So yeah, I don't really miss it though. I mean, it's going on down here now, so I've been here for 13 years, this neck of the woods. So. And Rich the Villain also says, when are you going to get real and organise another beer bus around the Black Country so we can consume warm cask golds and bitters? Yeah, I should organise another trip. I think I wouldn't do the Black Country again. We've done that. Maybe do something around Sheffield, Huddersfield, something like that. But yeah, something to work on. I'm going to plough on a bit over my 10-minute limit. A couple of quick ones. Rich the Villain. Have you ever worn Crocs? No, fucking rubbish. No, no need. Clark VV seems pretty cool. What kind of music are you listening to be as cool as him? Seriously. What do I listen to? I listen to all sorts of stuff. I'm into primarily kind of like late 80s, 90s, 2000s, kind of post-hardcore, punk kind of underground stuff. I mean, I'm listening to a lot of stuff at the moment from Orange 9mm, who up in New York, kind of post-hardcore band, a bit of rap influence. Google Orange 9mm Failure. That's one of my playlists now. I've got a regular sort of listener. It's quite a good wake-up song. But yeah, I could go on for hours about music. Used to be really big into music in the 90s when I was at university. I think many OCD collecting phases. In 1995, I went to 131 gigs in that year, which is 131 shows, concerts, whatever you call them. So which is more than one every 3 days. So I used to write them down in a book. So yeah, I used to be big on the music scene. Mainly following US bands around in that era, following bands like NoFX, Bad Religion. They used to sort of know all the roadies and some of the band members. Used to get the free of S and FU from Canada, Down by Law, all sorts. Moving on, I'm going to try and finish page 7 before I shut this one down. Rich the Villain says, are you worried that this year's GBBF will screw up your gold stats? No, Rich, I've actually overtaken golds with Imperial Stouts today. I think I'm about 839 Imperial Stouts versus 837 golds. I'm probably going to have a limited time at GBF this year, got other things to do. Probably do 2 nights there, and I'll just prioritise the US bar and screw the golds. And finally, the last one on page 7, which is Rich the Villain again. He says, which one of your logs is the biggest, your backlog or the one you laid in a French car park? We've already talked about the French car park poping incident. My backlog, yeah, it's pretty big. It's bigger than the French car park one. Yeah, it's not really going anywhere fast. Sorry if this question isn't high brown enough for the more sensitive OTL users. It's quite a brown question, Rich. Right, I'm going to shut this one down and move on to the next one. Cheers.